Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki, Dantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Gaura Premanandi. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. This is Canto 10, Chapter 86, and this is verses 22 to 26. So we usually do the last one where we all recite, but this is the first one, so we'll recite this together, then I'll go through on my own to the last one. Techutam prapta akarnya. Techutam praptam akarnya. Porajana padanripa. Porajana padanripa. Abhiyurmuditas tasmai. Abhiyurmuditas tasmai. Grihitar hanapanyaha. Grihitar hanyapanyaha. Techutam praptamakarnya. Ora janapadanripa. Abhiyurmuditas tasmai. Grihitar hanapanyaha. Techutam praptamakarnya. Ora janapadanripa. Abhiyurmuditas tasmai. Grihitar hanapanyaha. Techutam praptamakarnya. Tasmai Grihitar hanapanyana. Techutam praptamakarnya. Ora janapadanripa. Abhiyurmuditas tasmai. Grihitar hanapanyana. Techutam praptamakarnya. Ora janapadanripa. Abhiyurmuditas tasmai. Grihitar hanapanyana. Techutam praptamakarnya. Ora janapadanripa. Abhiyurmuditas tasmai. Grihitar hanapanyana. Master Jesus. Praptamakarnya. Ora janapadanripa. Abhiyurmuditas tasmai. Grihitar hanapanyana. Techutam praptamakarnya. Ora janapadanripa. Abhiyurmuditas tasmai. Grihitar hanapanyana. Te Achyutam Lord Krishna Praptam arrived. Akaranya hearing. Puraha the people of the city. Jana Padaha and of the king. And of the villagers. Ripa O king. Abhiyahu came forward. Muditaha joyful. Tasmai to him. Rihita holding. Arhanaha offerings to present to him. Panayaha in their hands. Translation. Hearing that Lord Achyuta had arrived, O king, the residents of the cities and villages of Videha joyfully came forth to receive him with offerings in their hands. Drishvata utamak slokam pritchuta pulanan sayaha Kedritan jalabir nemu Shruta purvam stata munin. As soon as the people saw Lord Uttamashloka, their faces and hearts blossomed with affection. Joining their palms above their heads, they bowed down to the Lord and the sages accompanying him, whom they had previously only heard about. Sanugrahaya sampraptam manvanotam jagat gurum maitilak shrutadevascha padayak petatu prabha. Both the king of Mithila and Shrutadev fell at the Lord's feet, each thinking that the spiritual master of the universe had come there just to show him mercy. Yamam taryetam darsharham atityena saha vijahai maitilak shrutadevascha yugapat sam hatanjali. At exactly the same time, King Maitila and Shrutadev each went forward with joined palms and invited the Lord of the Dasharas to be his guest, along with the Brahmin sages. So on to the last one now. Bhagavam stadabi pretya vayo priya chikirshaya ubayar avishad geham ubabayam tad alakshitaha. Wanting to please them, both the Lord accepted both their invitations. Thus he simultaneously went to both homes, and neither could see him entering the other's house. So we can recite this together. Wanting to please them both, the Lord accepted both their invitations. Thus he simultaneously went to both homes, and neither could see him entering the other's house. Purport. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti, Krishna visited Shrutadev and Bahulashva at the same time by manifesting himself in duplicate forms along with the sages. Thus, King Bahulashva thought that Lord Krishna had come only to his house, leaving Shrutadev to return home disappointed, while Shrutadev believed that just the reverse was the case. In Krishna, Srila Prabhupada remarks, that's the book, Supreme Personality of Godhead, that Lord Krishna and his companions were present in both houses, although both the Brahman and the king thought he was present in his house only. Is another opulence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This opulence is described in the revealed scriptures as Vaibhava Prakash. Similarly, when Lord Krishna married 16,000 wives, he also expanded himself into 16,000 forms, each of them as powerful as himself. Similarly, in Vrindavan, when Brahma stole away Krishna's cows, calves and cowherd boys, Krishna expanded himself into many new cows, calves and cowherd boys. Om Gantimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jaina Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Uttapadakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Rupam Sahjatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavanishvari Vrishavanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasvi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare So in the Madhurya Kadambini it explains that Krishna is Rasavaisaha. That means he's a reservoir of all different relationships. Therefore he's able to reciprocate with every single person in that peculiar relationship. So this has been shown here how he was reciprocating with two different living entities, and each living entity couldn't understand that. So it's the same with us, that, Krishna's in the heart, he's guiding every living entity according to their desires, and we can't understand what is actually happening with another person. Sometimes we go on externals only, and we judge a person by externals, but it's not always the best thing to do. In Chaitanya Leela, some of Lord Chaitanya's personal associates, they were actually very simple devotees, but they were very elevated as well. Vasudev Dutt and Kolaveta Sridhar, nobody would take them as being advanced devotees by externals. So Krishna can. He can understand the heart. And that's the main point in devotional service. What is the state of the heart? Not is what the externals are. So, how do we know he's Rasavasaha? I'm saying this, but in Shastra it explains the pastime of when Lord Krishna left Vrindavan and he went to Mathura. So when he went to Mathura, after killing the elephant Kulavayapida and then killing the washerman, he entered the wrestling arena, and every different type of devotee or demon, they saw him in a different way. Nobody saw him the same. How is that possible? It was dependent on the person's heart and what they wanted to see. And so Krishna reciprocated with that. The first, Nanda Maharaj and the cowards, they saw him as Nandanandan. The yogis, they saw him as the Yogeshwar, the supreme yogi. Kamsa saw him as death personified. The wrestlers saw him as a thunderbolt. Although he was very frail, just a few years old, they saw him as almost a grown man. And so Krishna was reciprocating with everybody in a peculiar way. Hare Krishna. So Krishna is omnipotent. he can do anything. There's nothing beyond he's a controller. Ishvara, Supreme Ishvara, Paramishvara. So therefore he can make black, white, inside, outside, like that. And this requires faith to understand that. Devotional service is a development of faith. And real faith means we understand that all I have to do is serve Krishna. All of the processes are taken care of. Shraddha Shabde Vishwas Kahe, Sudhiranish Krishna Bhakti Kaila Sava Kama Kritahaya. So this is from Chaitanya Chaitamrita. And we gradually come into that point, and we see that we go through different phases of our devotional service where faith is actually checked, our faith is tested. And so this is good. When we're in a situation which is beyond our comfort zone, it's very, very healthy for our devotional development. So this is the first point, is that, it's like unity in diversity. We're all the same as Krishna, we're all the same quality of Krishna, but we're all individuals. So next point. On the same point actually, even in this movement, unity in diversity is a really big point. We've got so many different devotees, it's an international society for Krishna consciousness. And so therefore, this takes some dealing with. And we see that sometimes devotees, they find it difficult to do that, difficult to reciprocate within the spheres of a movement. So this is not good, because, this doesn't please Krishna. What's the example? Krishna sets the example, actually, how he deals with everybody in a peculiar way. Like when Balaram, he favoured Duryodhana for Subhadra's hand. And Krishna sent Arjuna because Arjuna was attracted to Subhadra. And when Arjuna arrived, he came in, in a sage's dress. Nobody could recognize him. He was so well concealed. And after being there about a month, then Subhadra went on an excursion, and also Arjuna went. At that point, he kidnapped Subhadra. And, Balaram, he wasn't happy at all. He was very close friends with Duryodhana. And so he was really, really angry. And what did Krishna do? He eventually, when Balaram had actually cooled off a little bit, he started to speak that, Arjuna actually is a good match for us. He started to preach to him. And eventually, Balaram thought, yeah, he's right, actually. Any other examples? I've got a few here, actually. When Krishna killed Rukmi, there was two. Balaram killed Rukmi, sorry. And so Rukmini was there, a brother. So you can understand the way Rukmini felt. And Krishna was, married to Rukmini, but he was also Balaram's brother. So what did Krishna do in that situation? He didn't say anything. He thought, if I say anything one way or the other, it's going to cause a big problem. Then Balaram, in the Battle of Kurukshetra, he tried to make things work, but both sides come together, but he found out he couldn't. So he renounced the situation. So patience, renunciation, all these qualities are shown in the way Krishna deals. And so in an international movement, we have to be like that. We have to tolerate. The first instruction of the Bhagavad Gita is to matra sparshas to conti, to tolerate. That's the first practical thing Krishna told Arjuna. If we tolerate, we get realization. If we don't tolerate, we get diverted. We become in the on duality, the bodily conception of life. But tolerating, we're able to eventually see how things are actually unfolding and how Krishna's working in the situation. There's many things within ISKCON which could, we're scratching our head, how is it going to work, So we have to be patient, we have to be able to put a point of view forward without putting it forward too much. This means we see what Krishna has to say about the situation. And if we don't, then we push our point too much, and then there's problems. And then there's splitting. So unity in diversity. Krishna showed this by, seeing two different living entities. One was very, very poor, and one was very, very opulent. But he didn't favour anybody. He actually reciprocated equally with both.